But I mean, going back to what you and I said earlier about having your persona, your mask, your character, there certainly is that. You know what I mean? Because if you meet Jeremy, lots of power, that kind of, that is a character. He's portraying a role. You know, he knows that sells books. He knows that sells TV shows. So he uses character.
That's his job.
That's his job. You know what I mean? In the same way that if you go to watch Al Murray live, you're seeing a shaved head bloke in pub landlord's gear spouting racist and xenophobic views. Al Murray, the person, is a very intelligent left-wing guy with a beautiful beard, highly intelligent. He's got a degree from Oxford in history. So you've got the character and the person. And Clarkson's one of those people who are away from the cameras, away from the boisterousness. He is a lovely guy. He does work hard for the community. And one of the sad things about saying a no to his restaurant is that rural poverty is worse than urban poverty, because if you're poor in the city, then yeah, you're poor, but you've got doctors around the corner, your schools around the corner, everything's within walking distance. If you're born and raised in a village out here, some of the villages will have 20 or 30 houses. Your school is 14 miles away. You can't walk there because it's a single track road. You've got to take a bus. And your parents are paying £7.50 a day for you to go to school. You can't afford that. Do you know what I mean? If you're elderly, you need to see the doctor. Tough. That's 5 towns away. You might have to get 2 buses, 3 buses. And so the Cotswolds is seen as like a playground for the rich, and we are seeing it in that. I mean, you see it in London in terms of Hackney, in terms of Brixton, gentrification. You know what I mean? Rich folk buy cheap property, and then more rich people buying property. They then open up a soy latte coffee shop and a hipster bar and all the rest of it. And the locals like you and I kind of go, well, I can't afford to live here now. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So you've got people who are born in villages who will never be able to. I mean, my great-grandfather come back from the First World War. He survived, bless him, thankfully. And he went to work on a pig farm as a labourer. Now, in today's parlance, he was doing a minimum wage job. He bought 3 houses and knocked them into one on a farm labourer's wage. That house, I actually went to visit it, and we knocked on the door and said, look, sounds weird, I know, but this is the house that our great-grandfather built. My grandmother was born here. You know, this is where my dad used to come for his teens before they sold it off. And he loved the history because he was just a chap from London, bought a house, and that's all he knew. So he was grateful to get them knowledge of a bit of history. And we showed him photos of the old house back in the 1920s and the 30s and stuff. And then the conversation turned around to the ugly matter of money. He paid £3 million for the house. A house that, you know, 3 generations ago was worth nothing because it was in, you know what I mean? The rich people wanted to live in the city, and now it's changed. They want to live in the countryside. So you got your David Beckhams, your Kate Moss, and the fella out of Not Boy's Own Take That, and your Clarksons, who are buying land out there. And Clarkson is the only person out of all of them who hasn't just bought a plot of land, put a fence around it with a big sign saying "fuck off, locals." He's tried to engage with the locals, so I will defend him on that score. Do you know what I mean? He has tried to work with us, and that would have given so much jobs to people who have no opportunity at all. There are no jobs here. You know, that's part of the reason why I moved to London, because there was nothing here for me, you know. So Clarkson's farm. He wanted to put a restaurant in that. And it's very easy to watch the show and go, well, obviously the councillors hate him. Well, no, because if we'd have said no to it because we don't like him, he has the right to sue us, because planning is the one thing you can't do on party political rules. You don't get together as a group of Labour guys or a group of Lib Dem guys and say, we don't like it, we're all going to vote against it. Every single person has to have their own vote, and they have to be able to defend that vote and say, look, under section blah blah blah, the planning application, it says this, but under section 4 it says that, and you've got to make a decision based on that. A lot of planning law is quite vague in terms of it says, you know, you ought to have this, and there should be weight applied to that, and it's never going to marry up as an easy answer. So you have to take the decision. I mean, I got hate mail from all over the world, bless me, you know what I mean? Because I said, well, no, because, I mean, okay, it's getting a bit boring now, but there's parts of London that you can build on because it's an old factory, it's derelict, it looks fucking awful. So if you put houses on it, it's going to look a lot better, yeah? That's what a brownfield feels like. But if you want to build the same house in the middle of Regent's Park, same house, the same size, but you're going to say no because there's certain parts that are protected, and there's places called Area of Outstanding Natural Beauty. Now, the biggest one in the country is the Cotswolds. It stretches from Bath all the way to Oxford, which is about 4 times the size of London. Wow. We're on the outskirts of it, and the border between being in the AONB and not being in the AONB is one road. Jeremy Clarkson owns about 200 acres, of which 6 of those acres are on the other side of the road. If he'd have put his thing in the other side, we would have said yes to it like that. Because he put it in the protected bit, we had to say no to it. You know what I mean? And now, without casting aspersions on anyone at all, if he'd have put it in the right bit and we'd have said yes to it, season 2 would not have been as exciting. Do you know what I mean? Like I said, I'm not casting aspersions at all. Do you know what I mean? This is just a hypothetical fact. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Did you get to meet him during all this process, or was it?
We exchanged emails a few times, chat on the phone. Lovely guy.
Can he not just reapply and put it in the right place, or
he can? Yeah. Yes,
he can do that, but he's probably
yeah.
He said bit of TV show obviously needed.
You may say that I couldn't comment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What you worked out was that he started filming in the January. The council thing was in the February, so we said no to it a month after filming starts. But if you watch season 2, he has an idea, he starts cooking, he meets the other farmers, he does this, he does that, he does this. Then the last episode, the horrible, nasty council say no. And we said, well, if you watch the episodes, all the other ones are filmed in the summertime. And we said no to him in February. Now, if you were cynical, you might say, well, did he film all that other stuff after we'd already told him no? Well, you'd like to think not, but, you know, but
again, we all know TV's a fake world, so...
You may say that, but, you know.